Hands and knees, head heavy, can't catch breath, muscles shake, eyes wide, eyes blind, it is death. Rolling, writhing, thoughts compress, knuckles white teeth, crunch, fear manifests. Room distorts, violent predator, hostage held, perplexed, car crash. Airbag failed, full impact to chest. How much time straining to expel tears do I have to invest? Can't continue, help. Don't help, I don't want help. Someone help me, please help me, someone help me. I don't recognise the sound, but it's surely my voice. I don't recognise my actions, but they're surely my choice. Minutes ago I was smiling, perhaps even a laugh. What changed to make it look like I'm trying to choreograph an expressive one-man play? I've been here before, yet I still can't retain that this will pass, or what triggers me to stray. Tears are not falling, but streaming through the grey of the storm clouds surrounding me, getting in my way. This happens day to day, for what is it I'm making me pay? Why did I betray myself after all my hard work? I've been here before. Yet I still can't retain that this will pass, or what triggers me to stray. Physical pain from mental foul play. How many times do I need to mislay my sanity? How many times does this have to replay before I learn to outweigh the negativity to slay the demons? My momentum has wavered. The force needed to go forwards again is not something I savoured from the last. Expectedly unexpected, bewildered, disconnected, sweating, frozen. Eyes powerlessly closing, I'm not sure I can. Peel my empty shell off the floor to try once more. Until tomorrow. Thank you, hello. The shouting is more for me because I get really nervous and it kind of takes the nerves away a bit. So that was called Routine, and I wrote that to kind of emphasise the whole, and it's not just with mental illness I guess, but for me it's written about mental illness and how if you're going through something like that, it just feels so repetitive, and every time you end up in it, you feel like you've never been there before and you forget how to deal with it, and then you come out the other side of it and you go, oh, okay, it does pass, okay, things like that pass, I can deal with that next time, and then you end up back in it again and you don't know how to deal with it, so it becomes a routine. So my whole set has mental illness, suicide, sexual violence content. Just trigger warning now, if anything's too much, please don't put yourself through it. This next one's called I Win. That's just it, you bother me. Getting in the way of any chance of harmony that I could have ever hoped to have within my life. Now all I have are my troubles and my strife stemming from you, yes, you with the hair, with the teeth, with those eyes, with the same chubby clothes you still wear. At least that's what I imagine when I see you. Through my mind's eye every day, 9 years may have passed, but how you look and what you'd say remain as clear as a bell, ringing continuously in my ear. Your silhouette in my dreams makes me convinced you're still here. Who'd have thought 4 months of an expected 80 years could have such an impact, could leave such lasting fear? In that moment, when innocence was lost, I knew it'd never be the same. I felt a layer of frost freeze over my heart as a weakness struck my knees. Game face, girl, game face, you've got people to please. You're etched in my memory. I guess that's the way it will always be, but I'll store you in the bitter part, the part with no access to my heart. I've come a long way since that fateful day when you grabbed my arms, my legs, closed the door, drove away. Say goodbye to your house, you'll never see it again. Don't make me laugh, darling. You underestimated my zen, an exterior of calm I obtained as you drove like a psycho. Ironic, a word you once used to insult my big bro, and oh, by the way, my dad, he's not an alcoholic. My God, you spewed some shit, disconnected and robotic. He's a man. A real man. He's how you treat a girl. You would learn a thing or 50 if you weren't so shut off from the real world. You took away any feeling. And the rest, my conscience, my pride, my trust, me at my best, but I can get that back, my dear. You can't ever change your eyes, embedded with evil, riddled with lies. Poor you. You're stuck with you. I don't have to be, not anymore. I'm ready to be free. I forgive you. Not for you, for me, but I do because you see, I'm glad it was me. Me you deceived, and not another lady. Without what you did, I wouldn't be this smart. So thanks, you bastard, for helping me create this piece of art. Thank you. So when I first did an open mic last year, I remember thinking how much I wanted to put poems next to each other that made sense next to each other and have the time to do it without having to try and rush to fit it in. And thanks to these guys and people like Clive and Nick as well, I've been able to do it. So this one kind of follows on from that. That was obviously about domestic abuse, sexual violence situation. So this kind of is a consequence of that. This is called One Night Stand. Boom. Boom, boom. My heart, echoing your knock, knock, knock. My eyes dart at the clock. You're late. I make you wait for all of 15 seconds as I straighten up my hair that's already straight. I push down the handle along with my eagerness. A creep, mimicking myself questioning, adrenaline rushes to my blushing cheeks. Eyes of intent greet me. Your air of arrogance enters before you, passing my self-control, making it swift exit. This is no Brexit. Drink? After the day I've had? Absolutely. I haven't had that kind of day. But you don't need to know that. This small talk is only in the way. If dignity came served in a tumbler over ice with a slice and tasted like Kraken, you brought rum? Sweet, then I would drink it neat. But my dignity slips away as seamlessly as the liquor wanders astray into my bloodstream. You're ready to play. I noticed you scanned my body with those plunge pool eyes. They're black, right? Funny, so are mine. I spent just enough time making myself look fine, just enough effort to look hot, plus a little extra effort to make it look like I haven't had to make the effort to look this hot. Your weakness was emphasised when your plunge pool eyes stopped at my thighs. The upper handed to me, I'm in control, but you intended me to be, didn't you? You're unaware of my reasoning, but for that, I thank you. It might be the Kraken telling me to crack on, but I'm all ears. Inhibitions disappear, our chemistry shifting up a gear. As our movements intensify, our bodies become further intertwined, my effervescence screaming availability, the perfect cover for my harboured hostility. But your focus is pinpointed on my agility, my not so graceful motion, and my gnarly flexibility. I was hooked when you lifted me off of my feet, those thighs, you remember, they gripped you. We both felt the heat. Only since that moment I was planning my retreat. I parallel my libidinous temperament with yours, overflowing temptation encouraging me to explore. Pressure passes from my body to yours. I privately question how much longer I can endure. I can feel the intoxication, but I can't gauge the cause. It could be you, the rum, or the fear of unloosing my most substantial flaw. All is not as it appears, but you're tantalising my every sense, even through swallowed tears, so I persevere. Because I am worthy of this liberation, your generosity and stimulation, but my mind is rejecting your invitation and I'm writhing away into my foreseen damnation. I feel as though I'm choking on my extreme palpitations. The adrenaline that flushed my cheeks as I activated a fight or flight flirtation. In an attempt to convince my mind that this is not an obligation, you're reading my body language has said to my hesitation. We both retract. That trigger word, relax. I shake off my unwelcome flashback, a colossal drawback of being damaged goods. To feel like your body has been hijacked. This is shaping up to be one spectacular anti-climax. Thank you. So this is my last poem, but it's a long one, so that will explain why I'm starting it so soon. And when I first wrote this and another long poem that I did, I remember thinking, well, that's a shame because I'll never be able to share the whole thing because I'm not going to have time to. And then now I'm able to, which is just amazing and taking my breath away. And I'd like to say thank you so much before I start to Rusty Goat and to James for having me today, because I can't put into words what this means to me, which is really bad for a poet, but it really puts me on. So this is my last poem. Thank you for being so lovely. Dear brain, you almost made me leave. caused friends and family to grieve the loss of someone who was still there, caught beneath the lack of belief in herself. But for now, I think it's safe to say that neither of us are moving out, so let's try and understand what each other are about, shall we? Mind and I have been figuring out our differences for a while. Mind believes that she can bring you around to our way of thinking. Look, we understand that you prefer to freestyle, but it doesn't work for us when you leave us immobile. We'd appreciate a reconcile so that we can work together on this new lifestyle towards which you've become very hostile, let's be honest. Together, we could compile something worthwhile, because let me tell you, when you aren't so busy keeping a low profile, you've shown you can be pretty versatile. Good company. Sometimes you even let me crack a smile, but then you run a mile. Why do you do that? 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Excuse me while I break it down. Oh, sorry. I mean while I have a breakdown. Banging my head against a brick wall used to be an expression. These days it's a mechanism to cope with the aggression, the obsession, the depression that sure is manic, volcanic, at times satanic. The hellish look in my eyes when it's time to panic as my subconscious and conscious scramble to establish a more attuned dynamic. And emotional pain so intense I use physical pain in self-defense. See, anxiety and depression are my friends. The kind who are always there for you but like to embarrass you in public too. I've learnt when they come a-knocking, let them in. Make a brew, sit with them, that's how I win. I've tried to push them away before, but they've taught me I can't live without them through lessons that used force. So now, I let them stay. Allow emotion to spill out in any way that feels natural that day. Cry, scream, wail, shake, an expressive one-man play, because to fit in any positive feelings first, I have to make room, expel the negative however I see fit, and then when I'm ready, I'll resume weaker in the moment, sure, but after. Money can't buy the strength you exude. Money also can't buy happiness, that's what they say, but what's absolutely terrifying is when nothing can. Not even the love of my family, that's when I question my decision to stay. See, it was the most surreal thing. Finally wanting to live again, but realising I no longer knew how to. This world is so different to the last one I knew, like someone photoshopped me in but forgot to airbrush me smooth. I woke to 2 new family members I didn't know were due. Allowance to swear in front of my parents because the sound of my voice was a breakthrough. I used to be a chameleon. Now I'm the elephant in the room. Growing up, my lucky number was 2, since Mum said with 2 you're never lonely, and I believed it to be true. Until I realised you can be lonely with 22. 222. 22,222,222. You can be sat in a room with many multiples of 2 and still feel like you have only you. My body is a prison with a chief that won't listen. Inmate for life, no chance of parole or escape plans to come into fruition. People look at me like they can catch it. Maybe they can, but I'd argue more likely that they don't understand. If only they understood that they don't understand, that would lend more of a helping hand than wrapping me in bubble wrap and sending me in padded package into a secure room where I can be manned. Their corner-eye glimpses of inquisitiveness don't falter, unaware that their customary expressions have altered. All I can envisage is the spider in my bath and how he didn't deserve to be greeted with my wrath. I imagine how he felt towards my judgmental scream. I imagine as I question if I broke his self-esteem. I'm not mental. They're judgmental. I'm not mentally ill, I'm mentally intriguing. And there's something very beautiful about being mentally intriguing. And I'm not talking about how sometimes I forget how to breathe in without counting. I mean the ability to tap into another dimension that some people will only ever dream in. See, stability is comfortable but also restricting, and soundness of mind is reassuring but also limiting. Plus, when I'm mentally intriguing, I know how to behave. Trying to act normal feels like someone turned up gravity and it's sucking me through the floor into an early grave. Maybe I see the world through fanatical eyes, or maybe some only open theirs up to desirable skies. My head is in the clouds, not because I'm high, but because they hang low and because climates don't compromise when I'm left cold and without light. Though the sun remembered to rise, I'm reminded if I don't meet expectations, I am not obliged to apologise. Like that time I felt nothing plummeting from a 14,000 feet skydive, because happiness isn't real and neither is fear that in your mind. The mind being the most powerful tool you own, which is why the enemy fights you there, because it's where it gets you alone. Head or heart is never a question. My head wears the trousers, which explains why I feel upside down and the wrong way round during any romantic encounters. How can I feel everything and nothing within one breath? How can I feel empty, yet simultaneously as heavy as my dad's eyelids after a bottle of red? How can I want to live and the next minute be planning my death, forget monsters underneath mine, spoon me in my bed, body's exhausted, ready to sleep, but the memo didn't make it to my head, maybe. The problem is, it's midday, and I'm forcing myself to sleep, and not because I'm tired, but so something may have changed when I awake to pull me out of this whimpering heat that seemingly there is no reason for me to be in. My body feels stronger than it should ever have had to be, yet still I'll speak to you with the honesty of a child, if with the delicacy of one. Is how you treat me. If I was screaming because I trapped my finger in a door, it would be easy to feel sympathy, but trapped inside my own head, the instinct is to criticise and flee. But please, try to imagine feeling so anxious that the sound of someone parting their lips makes you feel you could rip your eardrums out with ease, or the texture of loved one's words make you bite because they torment your teeth, or your clothes touching you the wrong way will leave you twitching for weeks. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at my irrational response in allowing my life to become this bleak. Someone else's inspiration to live when I'm still on a 4-to-3 ratio myself each week. Suicide is selfish, is not an opinion, it's wrong. What's selfish is expecting someone to live for you when their pain is excruciating and they feel they can't belong. If I hear someone say there's no need to cry, I'll lose my shit, because if there was no need to cry, why would our bodies insist that we do it when I can't let people touch me? The familiar tears stroke my cheeks and tell me it's okay. It can be difficult to differentiate between a breakdown and any other bad day. Sometimes I get excited and my body panics because it takes these foreign feelings the wrong way. When I consider being more to someone than a passing thought, I know I can't commit to that, so I pull away beautiful minds with the ability to travel anywhere without moving. Why does mine travel to such a gloomy place when I don't hesitate on a bridge? I've won a race. For life, when oxygen I need to survive suffocates me, I feel like I belong in outer space. I am rough around the edges and straight through the middle. My language is encrypted and my actions contort as riddles. Autopilot is not an option when your memory is fickle. When it's bad, I forget how good it gets, and when it's good, I forget how bad it gets. I'm wary of good, because how bad the ensuing crash will be leaves me in suspense. It's like I developed a sick 7th, 8th sense for things that don't need to be sensed. If I think of one thing too long, I'll fall, so I count as I'm walking down steps. My large intestine is a spitting cobra releasing venom that leaves me temporarily blind to the present tense. Every movement takes more energy than it should. I can walk as instinctively backward as I can forward. Headphones in, no music muffles the external tortures. My skin is worn out, like me. Baths became an overused comfort, like tea. I never drink decaf, and I do that for me because despite what doctors have me believe, no one was ever diagnosed with something off the back of lack of decaf coffee. Don't let me fool you into a false sense of security. I think too much to be logical. But writing makes you feel happy? No, writing makes me feel, full stop. So I load my pen with pain and I spiel, because this is what happens when mental intrigue reaches fever pitch. We create something that makes the pain appeal, and there's something to be said for a rhyme to help people believe that something is real. The day I began to lose my mind is the day I began to find myself. That is when I realised it is okay to ask for help. Even if it means waking someone up. Self-sabotage is enticing, but it is a relief when someone interrupts. See, 2 steps forward and 1 step back is not a royal fuck-up. It is still 1 step forward. So I take the bad with the good and embrace my disordered and awkward now. I look forward to tasting that first tea of many in the morning, because it means I've made it through another night. Progress is progress, regardless of how slight. Thank you so much.